Virginia Garcia? No, Virginia Garcia? Good. All right, thank you. You might as well grab your seat because we're about to get started. Good evening and welcome to the Lawrence City Council meeting. Today is Wednesday, November the 8th, 2023. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council chamber and remotely. You can access us through Zoom, through the Lawrence City Council Facebook page and the Lawrence City Council YouTube page. I will now ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Anna Levy. Okay. Noted as absent. Councilor Dela Cruz. Is she remote?
Present, I'm here.
Remote? Yes. Councilor Levy is noted. Councilor Dela Cruz is noted. Councilor Russell.
Present.
Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor Del Rosario. Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Infante. Noted as absent. Council Vice President Estela Reyes, noted as absent. Council President LaPlante.
Present. We have a quorum. Would you please rise for a moment of silence?
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, councilors. We'll go right to public participation. The first person on public participation is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We demand the best contract for Lawrence police officers now. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership of Honorable Chief Castro, doing excellent job to protect our citizens. Honorable Chief Castro, with the excellent law enforcement background, offered the best leadership for one of the best police departments in our nation. Every Laurentian proud and must hire more police officers now. In a city of 83,000, with support of Lawrence Police Union and Senior Officers Union, they deserve the best compensation and contract. Million thanks to our DPW employees and the leadership for excellent job. Our DPW deserve the best pay raise. We support our awesome inspection department employees. We support your union. We must hire more inspectors. Lawrence teachers, you are number one. We support your union. We demand the best compensation for our teachers, our paraprofessional, our cafeteria workers. We support the family movement for the homeless every Wednesday night. Please bring donation and food. Administration must do more to help our homeless. In our city, we support the best example of the union. We remember your campaign promise. Save Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, only possible if we offer the best contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police officers, thank you for excellent job. Thank you for your contract.
Thank you. And I think I forgot to set the ground rules. Mr. Mali, that was excellent. The ground rules are 2.5 minutes. At 2 minutes, there's a buzzer that goes off. No, you did a great job. And we don't address any individual counselors, but the council, but you can address the chair. The next speaker is, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, Cisa Alcantara. Did I pronounce that correctly? Your name and address, please, for the record, sir. Welcome.
Cisa Alcantara, 109 Westchester Ave. I understand there was a public safety meeting that was to be addressed today, and it was canceled. I'm just here to address some of the issues that I came across during the summer between bicycles, mopeds that was causing some type of impedance during activities that there was a possibility of there was some accidents that was being caused because recklessness of people not taking care of their proper procedures, making sure it's driven on the roads, not in the park, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alcantara. The next speaker is Jeffrey Petrillo.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Jeffrey Petrillo, 341D South Broadway, Lawrence, Mass. I was here last summer regarding a zoning issue and regarding a declarative judgment by Honorable John T. Liu made on March 29th, 2021. And it also vacated the City Council's decision, which was illegal, on November 7th of 2018. And it's about the junkyard usage of lot number 18, which is actually 341C South Broadway in Lawrence, Mass. Now, I made a copy for all the city councilors, and I believe Dick Russell distributed it earlier. And this is a copy
It's Counselor
of...
Russell, by the way. His name is Counselor Russell. Continue, please.
I said Counselor Russell. Okay, okay. So he passed it along, and every one of you should have a copy of the judge's ruling and order. The question I have today, or tonight, is why has it been enforced? It's Chapter 48, Section 7, Enforcement of Zoning Regulations, Violation Penalties, Legally Non-Conforming Structures, Notice of Action, Jurisdiction of Superior Court. It basically goes on to say the inspector of buildings, building commissioner, or local inspector, or if there are none in a town, the Board of Selection or person or board designated by local ordinance or by law shall be charged with the enforcement of the zoning ordinance or by law and shall withhold a permit for the construction, alteration, or moving of any building or structure if the building or structure as constructed, altered, or moved with it would be in violation of any zoning or bylaw. That's the answer. The point is this. The judge made his decision, the first one, in June of 2019. This judgment that you have before you was March 29th, 2021, and there's still no enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Maggie Superchurch.
Good evening, councilors. I'm here tonight to speak on agenda item 382-23, transfer of city-owned properties to the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority. I'll start just by saying I'm surprised that a proposal of this scale is being brought forward without a public hearing, which is why I'm speaking during this public comment period. Although relatively little information seems to be made available, my understanding is that the LRA is asking the city to unilaterally transfer a pretty significant number of parcels, and really to give over control of those parcels with no apparent plan and no conditions for future use. Once those properties are transferred, the council and the members of the public will lose control over both the process and the outcome. I would ask each of you to consider why we are required to hold public hearings on handicap parking space, but not on the transfer of land of great significance to the city. Again, as I understand it, the proposed land transfer includes important historic sites like Pemberton Park, the Holy Rosary School, several large brownfield sites, including Merrimack Paper and Tomborello, that have used millions of dollars in public money for cleanup and for which taxpayers and residents deserve to know what the redevelopment plan is and have the chance to weigh in. I respectfully request that the council deny the requested transfer until a thorough and transparent planning process has occurred, which is the way urban redevelopment authorities are intended to operate, per Mass General Law 121B, and Lawrence is no exception. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jess Andors.
Good evening, councilors. I'm Jess Andors, 3 Jackson Terrace in Lawrence. I also want to speak on the same matter that Maggie Superchurch spoke on, which is the LRA property transfer question. And I'm actually just speaking really as a resident and as an abutter of one of the major properties that is on the list to be transferred, which is the Holy Rosary School, which is actually right across the alleyway from the house that I own and live in Lawrence. And it's troubling to me that the fate of that property and numerous other properties around the city, millions of dollars worth of property, is just going to be possibly unilaterally handed over with no redevelopment plan, no public input or public hearing. And I would just respectfully request that the council consider abiding by the rules of the urban renewal process and conducting such a plan so that we, the public and the citizens of the city, have the opportunity to weigh in on what those uses are going to be, what the overall benefit is to the community, and how all of that is going to happen before such properties get transferred. The properties are not going anywhere. They're under city control. The city doesn't get any more benefit from transferring them to the LRA before a plan is in place. And I think it would be very wise of us to follow the proper process and procedure and do the planning first before we make such an important transfer of property. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and that wraps up public participation. Names, addresses, and comments are being submitted to the clerk for the record. But the chair is going to recognize that we have before us this evening also Councilor-elect Magdalena Santiago. Councilor-elect Santiago, welcome to the chambers, and congratulations. Thank you. I went to the audience today to see who was here. Oh, will the clerk please call the roll for Councilor Infante?
Councilor Infante?
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We're going to go in order of folks that are here tonight. The first is Budget and Finance. There's two items that are here. 383A and 398B. We're the chair of the Budget and Finance. Please give the committee reports for, we might as well do all three to throw into the public hearing, the first three budget hearings. Budget.
You, Council President. The Budget and Finance discussed the item 383A 23, which is the appropriation transfer of a partial amount of money discussed on the main item for $150,000 to the Planning Department for Rental Assistance Program, ARPA funds, free cash allocations. This was discussed previously under the item 411B 22. Susan Finn and the personnel from the department were here to discuss the importance of this transfer of $150,000, which is going to be used for the rent assistance program of the City of Lawrence. We discussed it, send it up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. I would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? I just want to get just the chair did a pretty good job explaining and giving a highlight of that. I'd like to hear that from the top three things that the council should know about this vote. Can someone speak to that? Can someone speak to that matter? On this particular item, just so we can conceptualize it and draw it down, the chair did a good job, but can you just provide the top three things that the council should know about this item and why we should pass it this evening?
Good evening, councilors. I have more than three things, but I will
All
start.
I want is three.
Oh.
All
wow.
I want is three. So highlight the top three.
Okay, well, there is an emergency need in the city of Lawrence for emergency rental assistance. A lot of our Lawrentians are right now struggling. They're behind on their rent. They're suffering due to the pandemic, and we're trying to help them recover. We have a lot of families that are coming for more assistance, but unfortunately, we've already expended all the funds that we did have. Within the last 6 months, we have invested over $500,000 just in emergency rental assistance. But we still do have more families that we need to help, and that's why we're asking for the appropriation transfer.
What's 2 and 3?
There's more. Yes. Well, we want to keep them in their homes because right now they're facing evictions in the courts. A lot of the families are currently facing evictions, and if they don't get this help, then they will be homeless or having to find somewhere to go and be displaced.
And third big thing we should know.
It is our duty to help those families. We received those funds, those ARPA funds, back in 2021 to assist in the public health need. And if you all remember, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 was passed by the federal government to support the communities across the United States to recover from this pandemic. And these funds are intended to address the negative health and economic impacts caused by the pandemic. And because of that, we must assist our people and our people of Lawrence who need it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other
Mr.
comments or
President.
questions by members of the council? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Levy? This is the committee report.
This is for passage. A passage.
Oh. Counselor Levy? Okay. Counselor Dela Cruz?
Yes.
Counselor Russell?
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes? Counselor Infante?
Yes.
Council Vice President is noted as absent. Council President LaPlante?
Yes.
711.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Chairman,
councilors.
next
Have a great
document.
evening.
Council President, we have item 39833, which is the appropriation transfer of $451,049.55 from the stabilization reserve account for litigation purpose to pay the Republic settlements. It was put together by the City Attorney Tim Houghton. He's here with us, so he can summarize the item. But before that, I would like to present that as a form of a motion for the approval.
Motion to approve has been made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Mr. Hooten, you've been asked to, I guess you want. Chairman? Pardon me? Go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you. As you may know, we very well know we had a problem with Republic, who had taken over the JRM contract for trash for the city of Lawrence. The good news is when we did that, I know the council asked me, well, are we going to sue them and get money back or whatever? And I was happy to say, well, we don't have to sue them, they have to sue us because we never paid them. So they did work starting in September through November. We never paid any of their bills. At the end, they claimed for us to owe them over $1 million. As a result of conversations and negotiations, I'm proud to say that we have that amount down to $451,049.55. That would end our part of it. There is other parts which I cannot speak about, but that would end our part with this contract. The committee chairman asked an interesting question and asked me to have that answer, and what he said to me was, well, if we didn't pay them $1 million, where's the $1 million? And the answer is that the department does not work, it works on a rotating money basis. As a matter of fact, the DPW, because of the contract we entered into, spent more, obviously, than that $1 million on the new contract, as well as they roll all their funds at the end of the year to pay all their bills. They also asked for an additional 400,000 from free cash to pay the DPW bills. So there isn't, so to speak, amount of money set aside. That $1 million was never set aside. It's a rolling fund at which the end of the year, I'm sure you councilors know, they sometimes come before you to ask for additional cash. Because they didn't pay the $1 million, they did not have to come before you asking for the additional cash. So that's where the money is. It wasn't like there was $1 million that existed and then it disappeared. That $1 million, if whatever money they had each month, they paid the bills, paid the bills, and at the end of the year, if they have extra, they turn it back in. If they have a deficiency, they ask for it. So last year they had a deficiency, so there was no money that they had. So that's why this is a request from a transfer from the stabilization fund. This is a fund that's being set up. As a matter of fact, I have another agenda item which later on, which again asks for money for this. It's to pay the cost of litigation because they come up at various times. We don't ever know when they're coming in. I mean, we hope we get them. Sometimes we add to the amount, sometimes we subtract to the amount. So we're looking for this transfer to be able to pay this and end this end of this litigation.
Thank you. Council Del Rosario.
Thank you, Council President. Attorney Hooten, I don't know if I'm missing anything. I wasn't here for the meeting, but I don't understand. They violated a contract. They were penalized. They should have paid us. Why are we paying them?
Again, they had no money. Okay, so they worked for 3.5 months. Whether you thought it was good, bad, or indifferent, they worked for 3.5 months. They were paid zero. Okay, under our contract, we were obligated to pay them over $1 million. So they had a contract that said pay them $1 million. Right now, we are going to pay them $451,000. Much like any contract that you have, if you have some services and you don't think they're up to par, you may win it all, you may lose it all, but most of the time you settle someplace in the middle. And that's what we're doing here today.
I mean, that sounds great that you guys brought down the amount. It sounds unbelievable. It's a great job. But again, the violation that they have and the penalties that we should charge them, how much money will that, what's going to be? Because we haven't heard what happened with those violations. We were going to go after them, again, and we backpedaling, like always, and we end up paying. They violated the contract. They had tons of violations per day, per household, because they didn't pick up the trash. So why are they not paying those violations? Why I didn't check that amount? How much was that they owe us on violation? And then we'll collect that amount somehow. I don't know why. And then we'll figure it out. I mean, now we didn't collect anything from the violations. Whatever they do, we say we didn't pay. That's fine, but they violated. And I'm assuming that if we add it, because I remember the conversation and I said it, if we added all the violations per day, per household, it was at least $4 to $5 million that they owe us in violation.
Right.
And now we paying them $500,000?
Again,
to me, it makes no sense.
Right. Again, as with any litigation, you can win, you can lose, you can do whatever. There's a really big question on whether those individual fines are enforceable, in fact. Certain cases came down since that. That contract may not be enforceable as far as those individual violations. So, as I say, with any litigation, could we take it to the mat? You can take it to the mat. You take a chance of losing. You could, we could owe them over $1 million plus whatever penalties may be. That's why we settle cases. Again, I'd like to tell you that I can win any case that you can put before me, but I also know I've had cases that I thought could win that I've lost. I've had cases that I thought I would lose that I win. That's all part of the litigation. So when you say, where's the money? If tomorrow you bought something for $10 and then only paid $5, well, you didn't get any money, but you only paid half of what you agreed to. So here, we're paying half of what we agreed to.
And what are they paying on violations?
Again, you're getting $500 and something thousand off.
No, you guys sit down and you guys settle for, you discuss and you said, they're not giving us anything back. We giving them money. It's a settlement. It's a discussion that you guys had and say, you know what? They again, it's smarter than us and say, you know what? We got to pay them more than what they should pay us, but we're going to settle for $400,000 and we get something out of it. But that's okay. After that case that I saw that, I read tons of stuff, and I never seen a municipality lost a case against a hauler. This is the first time that I see that. And I went back.
I would
talked to-
disagree that we've lost any
No,
case.
and municipalities, it's hard to lose against a hauler. They put the whole city into a health crisis, almost. Plus tons of the violation. Again, we said we didn't pay for 3 months. They probably didn't pick up the trash for like 4 months.
Okay.
But that's okay. That's all I wanted to know. I mean, again, why are we paying people they owe us? It seems like this is how we worked. Delegations, how we delegated. They owe us. They should pay us. We shouldn't be paying them. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Council Levy.
Oh, for 3 months, just for 3 months.
3.5
about
months.
3.5 months, we owe them about $1 million.
So our average per month is $312,500 for trash pickup, $14,228 a month for recycling. That's our average bill. I believe it's more now. Currently, under the new contract, we pay more. But that's what we paid at that time.
Yes, but I just forget that new contract because this is another company anyway, no?
It's a new company that we're dealing with now.
It's
This
new
is an old
company.
contract, yes.
So this is the old contract that we had all the problems, that the city had all of the complaints from the tenants, from the residents, from the complete city, that they were not picking up any other trash. For how many days, for how long, we were, with all of this problem. And I agree with my council fellow, Council de Rosario, I think that we should do a better negotiation that's with the company. And we should not pay them because that's why we have a contract. So what is the reason that we have a contract, but we never ever get a contract that say that we won the contract? That we always end in paying all of this.
Again, we may have a discussion. I'm happy to have a discussion. At various times, whether it was on time, not on time, they brought tonnage to the dump. They also brought recycling. So did they do it on timely basis? No. Did they pick up trash? If they hadn't picked, again, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but if they did not pick up trash for 3 months, this city would be 7 feet tall in trash, okay? It's just logical that at some time, not the way we would have liked it, but they did pick up trash, okay? So a court would say, did they do something which they are entitled to money for? This is my opinion. Yes, they will get some money. So what we have here is a contract in which we could be liable up to $1 million. There is no exchange of money like coming back. If we had paid them the $1 million, and I just told you today, they're giving us $500,000 back, you'd be like, oh, you're getting $500,000, that's great. It's the same thing, it's just we never paid them.
Practically, we split the $1 million. We split it like half and half. Okay, you stay with half, and we keep it. We're gonna get the other half.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what-
That's exactly
that
what
we
it is.
did.
Is that it? So just one quick question. So for those 3 months, how much would we have paid? Again, I think you gave the numbers, but how much would we have paid had we honored the contract and they were doing what they were supposed to do on their part of the contract? How much would we have paid?
It is approximately $1.2 million.
So we were supposed to pay 1.2 million. At the end of the day, we're paying 400 and what?
$451,049.55.
All right. So essentially, they're taking it on the chin for about $600,000 or $700,000.
We did pay some other ones, so I would always say it's about half at the end of the day.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's no further questions. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario. Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Reyes is noted as absent. Council President LaPlante.
Yes, we'll deal with the last Budget and Finance Committee, and then we'll do the Personnel Committee. Mr. Chairman?
Council President, item 39923, which is the fiscal year appropriation tax classification It was sent out to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. I would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Motion made. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President.
I didn't see the hand. My apologies, Councilor Levy.
I did so that Alessi was supposed to be here.
No,
tonight.
that's just to order a public hearing.
Oh, just to order the public here. I'm sorry, I didn't.
So go ahead, clerk.
Order public hearing. Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz. Counselor.
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Council Vice President Estela Reyes is noted as absent. Council President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion passes. Mr. Zabak, I see that you're in the back. We're going to be dealing with Mr. Gonzalez's nomination. Would you please let him know that that's coming up like right now? There's no objection. Councilor Infante, Madam Chair, will you give the committee report, please?
Counselors, the Personnel Committee met 2 weeks ago, and we had item 397-23, the appointment of Mr. Adderley Gonzalez as the Director of Recreation. And we sent this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion.
Discussion, yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Good evening, councilors.
Good evening, Adderley Gonzalez. Well, I would like to just say thank you for a few things. I have noticed that you always take some time and actually work during the election division, for the election division during the election times. I would like to say thank you for that. I think that it is an important role for democracy that we have people that get involved and want to make sure that the process is transparent. And second of all, this department is extremely important to the city when it comes to recreation for the kids and our youth. I would like to, encourage others to actually help out and volunteer and join forces when it comes to different programs. To join forces with you, with the department, and make sure that we have a coalition of different organizations and departments to ensure that our youth are being taken care of. Thank you for everything you have done. I just saw you fixing up the Christmas tree when I come in, and you personally were doing that. So thank you for everything you have done.
Thank you.
I know that Councilor Dela Cruz may wish to speak on this. Councilor, do you wish to speak on this item?
Yes, Council President. May I?
You have the floor, Councilor.
Thank you. I would like to say that Adderley Gonzalez has volunteered so much in our community, and he has learned so much to be a young fellow who is always doing good things for our community. At the beginning, he was running at the high school. Then he served at Holy Rosary Church, and he kept going and going. And after he graduated from college, he came back to the city to serve. At the state, he did an amazing job with Senator Barbara L'Italia, and working at the city hall as an aide, it was a plus. Then I'm so happy to have somebody with the experience that Adderley has, with the knowledge that he has, and with the love that he brings to our community. I think he's one of the citizens that we had to say thank you for serving. Then Adderley, we love you, and you always doing the best for our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good. Oh, Councilor Levy?
Couple of questions. Yes. For how long you have been working for the city of Lawrence?
It's gonna be 3 years in May.
3 years, and always for the recreation department?
It was a couple of months as the chief of staff to the former mayor, and then I switched to recreation.
Okay, thank you. But I want to say thank you for all the work that you've been doing. You've been doing a very great job, and thank you for also being in there in whatever that we ask you for something. You always have some, like your smile, and you say, and always are you available for doing that. Thank you so much. Great work.
Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy. Counselor Vice President is noted as absent. Council President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion carries. Congratulations,
Thank
Director
you.
Adderley.
Thank you, Oliver.
Council President? If I may, since we're on the Personnel Committee, we do have an appointee. We do have an appointee that wasn't here last time, that he is here today, and I would like to untable that.
There's a motion to take document number 35223 off the table. Matters there a second. Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz. Yes. Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Council Vice President is noted as absent. Council President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion carries to take off the table. I believe the prevailing motion is a motion to approve. Who wishes to have the floor at this time? No one wishes to have the floor at this time. Okay. I just have one question for the library commissioner or trustee appointee. One of the places, the library has a lot of functions, as I've come to learn and love. One of the things that it is responsible for, to a certain extent, it's the history of our city. Based on that, that being one of its missions through its archives, et cetera, and its special collections, I was wondering what thoughts you had regarding that part of the library and what that might mean to a client customer.
Thank you. So first and foremost, we need to understand the history of the library and how it came to be a part of the city of Lawrence. I understand that the library at first was a privately owned an institution. It was later gifted to the city of Lawrence, and along with the gifting, there were certain rules and procedures that need to be abided by. That being said, I understand that there is great historical significance that require preservation in the library. You spoke earlier about the Robert Frost collection. I know that there's archives in there that are not being tended to, that hold great historical significance and require preservation. Right now, nobody's tending to them. I say that there's rules and procedures in place that need to be followed, but they're also slowing down the pace in terms of getting help and aid in the library currently, right? So in October, I know there was 2 forced shutdowns recently, where the library was forced to shut down because they didn't have any staff in there. They also don't have staff for the preservation of these archives. So I hope that one day we could make sure that we could change that and allow the employment of future staff to be an easier process.
Thank you. And my last is not, it's kind of a question, but not really, more of a statement. I just know that there's some concern regarding the accreditation of the Lawrence Public Library with respect to its ability to adequately fund the city's funding of the library. And if we lose, it's my understanding, if we lose accreditation, that would be catastrophic to the customers of the library that rely on the consortium of libraries to provide the collaboration of its materials. That's the biggest thing that comes to mind. I'm sure there are other unfortunate elements that would come from decertification. I'm not sure that's the right word as well. So I know that we've got a couple of years left before the 2 years before the gauntlet comes down on us. And so I'm hopeful that in your role as the library director or trustees, that you would be a forefront advocate to make sure that the administration and the council understands how important it is to put the appropriate amount of money here before we lose. Is it accreditation? Is that the proper word? Accreditation. So it's more of a comment, and if you wish to comment on it, you can. Just something that I wanted to throw out there.
I'm not privy to that information right now currently, but I plan on taking a deep dive into the budget and finding out exactly what's going on as to why, where the funds are being allocated, how they're being used, how they could be better used, and what we need in order to preserve that accreditation.
And my last question, and this is more of a public service announcement, I think it's fantastic that the library recently released the information from the Evening Tribune that starts back from 1890, and it's going to be going up to 1957. And so because of the relevance of our library in the city of Lawrence, we today at our homes, each one of us that are in this building, in this chamber, and at home, can go ahead and do whatever kind of research we would want to do out of our homes from the newspaper of record, the Evening Tribune, starting as far back as 1890. And I looked at it today, and they've started to go up to 1924 so far, and every day they've put a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, till they get to 1957. What a gift that is to all of us, that if we want to find out how our predecessors voted on a stop sign or a water rate or a tax hike or an election or anything that we want to do that provides some context on a vote we're taking today, what a gift that is. So I just hope that in your position there that you will continue to advocate for that as much as you possibly can, and I think that that would be a good steward of in your position as a library trustee.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Councilor Rodriguez.
Just as I said before, Council President, through you, as I said before, these positions for that these board members, the membership doesn't have any term limits. So you've been appointed tonight for life. So, so.
Thanks for scaring him. No,
No term limits.
for life and non-paid.
So you have that, you have that commitment.
Yes, I do. Yes.
No, it's funny because I mean there is it is important to recognize that, because I mean I have the privilege to actually take the vote on a few members of the community on those positions, and they are very respectful people from the community, because that's an important board. So I would like you to see it as important as it is, and you have no term limit. So if I don't see you anymore, thank you for serving.
Thank you. I will comment just a little bit. While I understand I'm taking a lifetime appointment essentially, right? And I hope to support and bolster the current programs that are ongoing in the City of Lawrence Library. I do think that there should be some sort of term set. I think that the board should always be reflective of the community that it's serving. So.
Thank you for sharing your thought.
Thank you.
And one more thing, is there any stipends or anything associated with the position, Director Redbrew?
This is completely a non-paid position.
So this is a volunteer, essentially. We're saying, well, thank you so much for being a lifetime volunteer. Yep. Councilor Levy?
No, he's like running. Congratulations for your appointment. But can you state your name, please?
Oh, sure. I am Ruben Fernandez.
Ruben Fernandez. Thank you. Well, welcome for life to the Board of Trustees. So how many members does the Board of Trustees we have? How many members?
We are made up of a board of 3 White Fund members, ex officios, and then we have 6 seats appointed by the mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Actually, we don't,
Motion
I thought we-
to, motion, yeah. We did, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes.
good job. You. Thank you.
I'm sure it's been a long day, clerk.
It's- Since yesterday, it's long. Counselor Infante, let's try this again.
Yes.
Thank you. Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Richard Russell.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President is noted as absent. Council President.
Yes, the motion carries. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If there's no objection, we do have some public hearings. I just want to get these out of the way, so if there's nobody here that needs translation services, we can let the translation services folks leave. So if there's no objections, we're going to go to the top of the order for public hearings. Document number 6321 is handicap parking at 120 Newton Street. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Document 63-21. Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, November 8th, 2023, at 7 p.m. in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, and in accordance with the recently revised City Council Rule 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevent them from participating in person. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the City Clerk, Eileen Burnell, the City Clerk at eileen.burnell@citylawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment of the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following subparagraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, parentheses, handicapped parking. Newton Street, east side, from a point 188 feet north of the intersection with Andover Street to a point 208 feet north of the intersection with Andover Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz? Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
Council Vice President is noted as absent. Council President LaPlante?
Yes, the motion carries. Looking for a motion to dispense with the reading of the preamble.
So move.
Motion made by the Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Nope. Councilor Stephanie Infante. Discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document number 16823, handicap parking at 68 Dorchester Street, number 2. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following subparagraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicapped parking. Dorchester Street, north side, from a point 217 feet east of the intersection with South Union Street to a point 237 feet east of the intersection with South Union Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Counselor Del Rosario and seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. I just want the clerk and the body to know that Counselor Maria De La Cruz is no longer on Zoom, which is why we're going to voice votes. See no discussion on this matter, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is document number 16923, handicap parking at 54 Exeter Street. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
Purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence by further amended by adding the following subparagraph to section 10.36.340 of the municipal code, handicapped parking. Exeter Street, south side, from a point 70 feet west of the intersection with Grafton Street to a point 90 feet west of the intersection with Grafton Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Counselor Del Rosario, seconded by Counselor Russell. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 22023, stop sign at Crosby and Newton Streets. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following subparagraph to section 10.28.100A of the municipal code, stop signs. Crosby Street, westbound drivers on Crosby Street at Newton Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Stephanie Infante, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 22423, a stop sign at Dale Street, which is the corner of Alston Street. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following subparagraph to section 10.28.100A of the municipal code, stop signs. Dale Street, northwest bound drivers and southeast bound drivers on Dale Street at Alston Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? See then, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Counselor Levy, seconded by motion made by Counselor Selena Reyes, seconded by Counselor Anna Levy. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 31323, handicap parking on 29 Springfield Street. Clerk, will you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following subparagraphs to section 10.36.340 of the municipal code, handicapped parking. Springfield Street, south side, from a point 310 feet east of the intersection with Parker Street to a point 330 feet east of the intersection with Parker Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Counselor Anna Levy, seconded by Counselor, there was a voice over here, Counselor Reyes, Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document So counselors, the next four documents I'm looking to handle as a block. Is there any objections to us considering this as a block? Seeing no objection to that, I'll ask the clerk to please read the public hearing notice for 377-23. And this is all for removing handicap parking at 2 Bennington Street, 377-23, 378-23, 379-23, and 380-23. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to get testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by deleting the following subparagraphs of Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicapped parking. West side, from a point 30 feet northerly of the intersection with Chestnut Street to a point 50 feet northerly of the intersection with Chestnut Street, and Bennington Street west side, from a point 50 feet northerly of the intersection with Chestnut Street to a point 90 feet northerly of the intersection with Chestnut Street, and Bennington Street west side, from a point 90 feet northerly of the intersection with Chestnut Street to a point 110 feet northerly of the intersection with Chestnut Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Councilor Anna Levy, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The last one for a public hearing is document number 38123, handicap parking of 4 spaces on Chestnut Street. Clerk, will you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following subparagraphs to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicapped parking. Chestnut Street, north side, from a point 20 feet west of the intersection with Bennington Street to a point 100 feet west of the intersection with Bennington Street. This addition will create 4 handicap spaces. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Anna Levy, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that's it for public hearings. Council, we have 2 pieces of old business. Are we going to be taking that up tonight, Clerk?
The first item on the old business was committee. You approved the funding, and Mr. Ainello wanted them to cite the source of the funding as well, so she has to put it on his old business, so. And then the second one. I did find the actual vote from 2004 to add the loading zone. We found the document, but in the ordinance book, there's no corresponding ordinance, so we didn't order a public hearing because no, we just need to withdraw the document because there's nothing lining up in the book.
So is that clear? We'll start with the second one first. It seems a lot more clear-cut. I'm looking for some sort of motion on that.
So motion to withdraw item 36823.
Motion made, seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion on the motion to withdraw. Is there any? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. On the clerk's recommendation, 34823, I'll send back to the Budget and Finance, so she's going to be there anyway to have a greater discussion about what the purpose of that is. 34823 is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Tabled matters. Is there anything under table matters that anybody wants to take up? Seeing none, we're going to move on to new business. New business, we can give, I think we're all set. Authorization and creation of a DPW recycling revolving fund of $50,000 is going. Let's go to Budget Finance. Document 40423, disclosure of a conflict of senior tax credit and special employee Mary Cody is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 40523, disclosure of conflict of senior tax credit and special employees Shirley D'Angelo is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 40623, disclosure of conflict of senior tax, conflict of interest, senior tax credit and special employee Geraldine McNeil is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 40823, disclosure of a conflict, senior tax credit and special employee Lorraine Mangan is going to the Ordinance Committee. 40923, disclosure of conflict, senior tax credit, special employee Linda Poulin is going to the Ordinance Committee. 41023, disclosure of conflict, senior tax credit, and special employee Sarah Saldana is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document number 41123, disclosure of a conflict, senior tax credit, and special employee Marilyn Toomey is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 41223, disclosure of a conflict, senior tax credit, and special employee William Collins is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 41323, request expansion of resident parking on East Haverhill Street to include 108 Haverhill Street is going to the Ordinance Committee. 41423, handicap parking, 34 Duckett Avenue is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document number 41623, resident parking West Street. 41523, handicap parking, 8 Ferguson Street. Go to me. Is going to the Ordinance Committee. 41623, resident parking West Street from Florence to Alden Court, both sides of the street, put on by Councilor Del Rosario, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 41723, ordinance to reclaim city-owned real property when buyer fails to fulfill restrictive covenants or condition is going to the Ordinance Committee. That's put on by Councilor Del Rosario. Document 41823, request Education Commissioner Jeffrey Riley to provide a status report on the exit plan for the Lawrence Public Schools from state receivership, including the status of the superintendent search for Lawrence Public Schools. That's a title. Superintendent. Now, don't freak when I say this. It's going to the Committee on the Whole, but we're going to have a Committee on the Whole before the end of the year, so it's happening soon. It's happening. It's not dying there. It's happening. 41923, request Education Commissioner Jeff Riley to modify the composition of the LAE Board put on by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, same place, Committee on the Whole. 42023, handicap parking, 59 Lexington Street, put on by Vice President Stella Reyes, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 42123, handicap parking, 128 Hancock Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 42223, handicap parking, 234 High Street, put on by Vice President Estella Reyes, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 42323, handicap parking, 86 Everett Street, by Councilor Selena Reyes and Mr. Ruben Rodriguez, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 42423, handicap parking, 128 Farnham Street, put on by Councilor Selena Reyes, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 42523, handicap parking, 31 Exchange Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 42623, handicap parking, 88 Bunker Hill Street, put on by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario and Haifa Adela, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 42723, 50-minute parking, 121-123 Myrtle Street, Unit Number 1, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 42823, WR number 30779965, installed 1 JO pole on Abbott Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 42923, discontinued the use of a portion of Bay State Road as a public way from McFarland to Jordan Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. 43023, amend the City Housing Development Incentive Plan, HDIP. Extend the proposed housing development zone to include more city neighborhoods and amend other aspects of the plan. It's going to go to the Housing Committee. 43123, authorization to expand opioid settlement funds from the Office of the Attorney General. The estimated amount is $2 $523,205.21 is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 43223, SEIU Local 888 Library Union, approve the incremental cost items and funding of a collective bargaining agreement with $145,000 fund transfer. The contract dates are July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025 is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 43323, a transfer of $52,412.04 from the Stabilization Fund to pay judgment. That's going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 43423, authorization to expend grant funds of up to $1,005,200 for the 2024 Massachusetts Municipal Public Safety Staffing Grant. Executive Office of Public Safety and Security is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 43523, authorization to expend grant funds of up to $2,500, Sobriety Checkpoint and Saturations Initiative with the Massachusetts State Police, going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 43623, authorization to expend grant funds of up to $48,085 for the FY23 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grants, or JAG. That is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 43723, solar PPA and lease contracts with Solect Electric for 5 city properties, which includes 3 schools and 2 city buildings, is going to the, is it all financial? Budget and Finance. 43823, appointment of the first city attorney. Tim Hooton's going to the Personnel Committee. 43923, a 30-second delay of all traffic lights in all directions, synchronized, put on by, this is by Officer Abel Cano, as well as the Police Department and the Police Chief Castro. That's going to the Public Safety. 43923. Public Safety is from, I don't know.
Council President. That's definitely, at least in my opinion, of public safety, because I know, for example, intersection of Andover and South Broadway with the light
Yeah, I'm leaning
situation.
there. I get it.
Yeah.
Public safety, that's 439. 44023, ordinance of the right turn only for vehicles exiting business between Durso Ave and Chickering Street. Again, that's a combination between Chief Castro in the mayor's office, and that's going to the ordinance committee. 44123, it's being withdrawn by request of the proposed person. And the last one is 44223, a request to fill positions vacant more than 6 months. The assistant purchasing agent, Scott Zabak, has put that on. That is a ordinance situation. So that's it. Counselors, let's talk about committees.
Council President.
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to require the presence of the following departments or individuals for the next public safety meeting. I have for an item, for the homelessness initiative item that's currently on the agenda, pending. So we were supposed to have a public safety meeting today with that agenda item, but it was canceled. And I believe, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we have to make a motion to make it, to mandate, yeah.
Okay, so you want to make a motion? Okay, go ahead.
I want to make a motion to request the presence of the police department, the mayor's office, and the homelessness coordinator for our next public safety meeting.
When is the next public safety meeting? Because we're gonna need to put that as part of the motion. Do you have a date? So we're gonna request that they show up. We should tell them what day it is.
So, Councilor Infante, are you expecting that meeting to be longer than an hour?
No.
So we can do next Wednesday at 6, if possible.
Okay. So next Wednesday, 15th.
So there's a motion on the floor to request the individuals that the chair has listed for next Wednesday,
Vice
the
Chair.
5th. Pardon me?
Vice Chair.
Personnel. Oh, I'm sorry, the vice chair. Sorry. Vice chair. For the 15th at 6 o'clock. Did we say 6 o'clock? Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Any discussion on that motion? See no. Sure. So the motion's been properly made and properly seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Okay. More committees. You want to go with budget?
Budget and Finance at, housing at 7 on the 15th, Wednesday. And then 7:30 Budget and Finance.
The 15th, busy day on the 15th. Okay. So there's 3 committees so far. Ordinance, 7 p.m. Personnel,
Next Tuesday, 6 p.m.
okay. I think that's
30,
it.
sorry.
And the vice president will let us all know when the committee on the whole is going to meet, so she'll let us know. Seeing there's no further discussion.
President,
looking for-
but you can propose the date, and
Yeah, I
then
mean,
we can discuss it.
it's a such an urgency on those items, due to the fact that they're gonna start the committee to search for the new superintendent. So we need to discuss this before, so we have some recommendation there before they actually form a committee. So if we're gonna wait for them to be done and they not be here, and we not be part of it, I mean, there's no sense to just put them, send them to the community as a whole. Let's put them in hold, who knows when.
So there's, I mean, I can certainly put a date on it, but it really is up to the vice president to confirm that. I mean, she chairs the meeting. That's the vice president's job. So I can certainly give a date, but just realize with that date, it could be changed, right? So I can throw out a date. And just letting you know that could change, right? So we tentatively schedule the 16th, and the vice president will either confirm or she'll figure it out. She'll contact the counselors, find out what dates are workable, whatever it is. But it's up to the vice president to make that date. But tentatively right now, tentatively at the 16th. Typically go at 7, so we'll have it, keep the 16th. Just keep in mind, it's also the 20th at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock? Let's put 7 o'clock. That's our time our meeting starts. 7 o'clock on the 20th, due to the call of the vice president. So there we go. Committee of the whole, tentative for that date. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion? Oh, Councilor Russell.
The City of Lawrence will be holding a Veterans Day celebration at the center this Saturday, which is November 11th. The ceremony starts at supposedly 11 o'clock, but I get there early and I'll give everybody a warning. I'm the guest speaker.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Levy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed no, the ayes have it.